Welcome back to Fly the Coop, everybody. We are going to talk about the success in real estate on a team, and I have Steph Spading with me today. Welcome, Steph. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We have to have you on today because last week you hit a huge mile marker mid-year at 8 million in production, helping amazing stories in our city transition into major lifestyle change. And I want to visit a little bit about what you're doing, Steph, that might inspire our followers. So let's dig in. We have lots to talk about today. First of all, how are you feeling? Mid-year, how's your energy?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little more rejuvenated here. A few stories have come to a close, and it's always really that's the rewarding part of the business is seeing happy clients and then rinse and repeat.
Oh, I know, and let's talk a little bit about that because we were in one of our coaching meetings maybe a month ago, and the
Mhm.
success that you're seeing isn't short-lived. I mean, you've been building, we're going to talk about funnel building today. You've been building your funnel with the CACG team for 3 years now, and your production
Yep.
level, even in just 1 year, has been transformational at 4.25 average last year, up to 1.7 million this year. And how you did that and the meaningful relationships that you're building because of it right now, but also finding personal life balance because there's a lot of energy put into these stories. So tell me about
Yep.
what your experience has been. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. To your point, it's the relationship building that, really creates longevity in this business. This year, I'd say a handful of the clients that I have into homes, I've been helping for, some a year, some 2+ years. So it's definitely, continuing on and creating those relationships until you get them to the finish line.
Mm-hmm. And let's get into like we're talking to other realtors out there. Tell me what a day looks like and how you recover from what is chronically we are in this business now, always on, right? There's never an off switch.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I last weekend, we were 10 o'clock at night dealing with a transaction and working on offers collaboratively with two different clients. How
Mhm.
do you find balance in all of that and maintaining um, your positive energy and your mindset? Because I know there can be dips and valleys. We all
Mhm.
experience them because the business, those of us that are doing a lot of production with a lot of different stories, there's a lot of energy invested into our clients. So, how have you found
Mhm.
the stability in that for yourself? How have you done that?
Yeah, it's certainly a challenge. But I've learned to take those quiet moments when they present themselves and to go outside. For me, it's, moving my body, being in nature. I know, there's other people on the team, yourself included, where gardening or things like that really help ground you.
Mhm.
So, when I find, whether it's a morning or a little part of the afternoon that's quiet, just taking full advantage of that opportunity without guilt, which is a hard thing to do, and just fill your cup up. And then it just allows you to, bring new life and energy to your clients.
It's an absolute truth. I cannot speak highly enough and how important it is. I always say, if you're not in a good place, if you're not grounded, you're not good to anybody, right? So
Hmm.
this business
Absolutely.
is fluid. I always use the word fluid. It's like a woven blanket. Our life is interwoven, our personal life and our clients' lives, they become our family practically because of
Yep.
how this work works. And to be able to work structurally into this 9 to 5 rhythm with weekends and nights off is not the reality of this work, as we both know.
Mhm.
And I always say to the team, taking moments when you can get them with no guilt and grabbing those. And even if it's just a couple of hours, it's like going on a mini vacation, right? It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's too easy to take on other people's stress. So whether it's, your clients or another agent, it's easy to like take that on as your own. So taking those moments to kind of shed that so that you can, present some fresh energy, towards them,
Yeah.
I think is really important.
I completely agree. I completely agree. So we had a really unique story, and we'll leave names out, and amazing, amazing clients. And we're very grateful for the opportunity. But the market is shifting, and we're going to just talk about that. It's a very busy market. It's also a shifting market, right? And would you say that you're seeing a market now that you've probably not experienced, Steph, in your career?
Correct. Correct. Yeah, being somebody who, got into the industry in that, COVID, low interest, high demand market time, we are stepping into a more, balanced or normal market that to me, isn't normal. So adjusting in real time has been important. And, being part of a team again is, really special because I'm working with people who have seen, so many different markets. So
Well, and I
it
think
helps give perspective.
completely agree. And even the team members around you, we do an L10 meeting every Monday. And Grant had called me and said, that was such a fun meeting because there's so much happening right now, which isn't for us. I find, FYI, our second half of the year is very powerful. A lot of people say they
Yep.
get their momentum second quarter of the year. We actually do our biggest book of business third and fourth quarter for a myriad of reasons that happens, right? So everyone on the team is really thriving and they've worked very hard to get to that point. At the same time, there's a lot of energy. There's synergy in that networking and that storytelling. So tell me about the meeting on Monday and what was your nugget of the day when you sat in, as an example?
Yeah, Monday's meeting. Yeah, we always have a fabulous meeting. It's just nice to kind of hear what's going on for other people in the market.
Mhm.
While we're saying, things are kind of coming more balanced, we're also still experiencing situations where there's multiple offers. So being able to touch base with the whole team. And so our colleague Nolan had been in a multiple offer over the weekend, and that first time home buyer price point. And then, we're also discussing, the homes that are remaining to sit on the market.
Right.
So having, multiple perspectives is really powerful, and for us to know and coach our clients.
Right. And we are coaching right now the clients for those of you buying and selling. This is a fabulous time to be entering the market. You're experiencing more inventory. The sellers are still getting a beautiful outcome on their sale, albeit there might be a slightly longer market time attached to that. We are not
Mm-hmm.
nearly yet at what a normal market is. Many don't know that a normal market's actually a 6-month window on the market. That was over a decade ago that we were experiencing that market. We're in a very exceptional and extraordinary time in the marketplace, and we will continue to thrive in the city because we've become such a magnet for relocation um, from other parts of the country. So that's a segue on funnel building, communication, and how you communicate because you're in front of a lot of people. What's the magic sauce in your mind, Steph, in building your funnel short and long term? Because there are people that you met 2, 3 years ago that are just
Mm-hmm.
transacting this year. So share your insight on that.
Yeah, I think everybody has a little bit of a different approach. But I'd say mine is probably kind of the norm on our team where open houses have just proven to be a powerhouse. And my favorite method of, meeting new people and, quote unquote, generating leads. And that has been, a good way to get in front of people that I wouldn't normally be seeing and connecting with them about, adding value. So sharing what's going on in the market, to your point, or, it's really never a bad or necessarily good time, but it's all about how you strategize. So knowing what's going on in the market and being able to articulate that to potential clients is really valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And then just connecting with them on, a personal level. So, finding some common ground and then staying in touch with them, again, whether they're ready to look now or they're 2 years out.
Mm-hmm.
Every story is just so different.
I know.
So, just remaining in their lives and continuing to bring value, I think, has been the most powerful. And then I'd also say this year, but I've been getting a little more creative. So we're still really short of on inventory.
Uh,
So,
yep.
wanting to make that inventory come to life for clients, right? So one thing that's been really successful, at the end of last year and into this year is writing handwritten letters
Mm-hmm.
to whether that's a specific neighborhood or development, and just putting some feelers out on behalf of my clients to see is anyone considering selling.
It is an old
And that
school
can be a great
methodology.
way.
It's a great way.
Yeah.
But it's been that technique has been a technique around for decades. It's an old school thing. I'm 55 now, and I am an older agent now with a young team, and I love some of the old methodologies of networking because they're intimate and they're one-on-one, and they tell storytelling. To me resonates in such a deep way, which flips to what you were just earlier saying. I always say to the team, texting, emailing, most important one-on-one conversation. Janet, our
Yeah.
team coach, would use a different analogy that's very analytical and percentile focused. What does that look like? You just had a meeting with her today.
Yeah, a lot of good nuggets from our coach Janet. We were actually just talking about how we're communicating with clients and the follow up. So again, leading with value, but also, eliminating some of the filler that we use and just kind of getting to the point with them. And whether that's, asking what they need help with, or, saying, hey, here's what's going on in the market. Does it make sense to sit down now and talk about
Right.
getting your home on the market?
Mm-hmm. Right. And so the texting, the phone call, and then the in person, the percentages,
Yep.
I don't have them right in front of me, but the conversion model is low on text. Meaning, if you only send
Yep.
text to your clients, if that's all you do, your ability to connect with them and actually take them on as a future client is going to be very low. Like, I think it's a
Yep.
7% conversion model. And if you lean into emailing with the texting as part of, so you're an emailer, newsletters, or communicating by email exclusively, I think it's floating around 28 to 33% conversion on being
Mm-hmm.
able to have a relationship with that person you've met. And you lean into an in person, whether it is through Zoom or it is an in person meeting. You have a coffee with them or a dinner with them or a glass of wine, whatever that might be. That allows for a more intimate conversation while you're able, the
Mm-hmm.
client, future client's able to, eye contact, tonation. There's so much that's missed in email and texting dialogue. And I think that we have a society that really
Absolutely.
leans into that for a myriad of reasons. We won't get into the minutia on that. I can't stress enough how important that in-person experience is, which is why, coming from an older school model and loving that one-on-one interaction personally, one of the coaching models that's important to me to teach you is in-person dialogue. So would you explain to our audience how that's changed your environment as it relates to building your career model, that in-person?
Yeah. I mean, Absolutely. And I think it is client specific too. You learn pretty early on what their preference is.
Mhm.
But I'm a firm believer in just doubling down. So that might mean you send an email that's really detailed and has the data. And then I'm sending a text saying, "Hey, I just sent you an email. I'd love to hop on the phone and, run through that in detail."
Mhm.
And then you get on the phone, and that way you're just making sure that the information is received. But then to your point, having that phone conversation or in person, you can make sure it was received in the way that you meant to deliver it.
Exactly.
So making sure that you get questions answered and that the tone comes across, in the light that you want it to.
So, in your experience, when you're sitting down in front of the client, how does that transform the relationship?
I think everything just goes better in person. We'd be lying if we said, buying and selling real estate isn't stressful. Our job is to eliminate a lot of that stress for our clients,
Mhm.
but it's still typically a really big transition in their life that is just going to cause emotions. And I
Absolutely.
find anytime you can sit down, people are just a lot more at peace and they feel like they're being heard and they're also getting the answers from you.
Mhm.
In a way that makes them feel good.
Well, I think there's a level of comfort in that. And I
Yep.
think we all can agree from experience, regardless of what stage of life or what you do for a living, anytime you're with
Mhm.
somebody in person and you're able to really do a Q&A and have a full-on conversation in person, you're able to articulate whatever the issues are at hand. Now, specific to real estate, when we're in a market that's in a shifting mode, and it feels kind of like a hot tamale.
Mhm.
There's no consistency right now. One thing is going in multiples and the other sits for a month. Now, in part, that is price point driven,
Yep.
but I think we can even speak as a team that we've been following a market trend that is specific to each region of the city. And depending on who you're watching, and there's so much glitter, I call it,
Mhm.
the messaging from media and the message from maybe different parties that are out there can be mixed. Like it's not a consistent message. And in part, the lack of consistency is we're a Twin Cities team, and we've been
Yep.
running the Twin Cities for over 25 years now as a brand. So, our being able to um, say what's happening in urban Twin Cities versus first tier, so a suburb, a first tier
Yeah.
suburb. What's happening in Maple Grove versus Egan, or the east side versus the west side. Having these conversations that are um, backed with analytics, and we're able to navigate in person a conversation on the why and what to expect. It could be
Mhm.
this or that, this or that. I say that all the time. If this, then that.
Yeah, setting expectations. I'd say that's probably one of the biggest parts of our jobs is to set expectations with clients.
And those expectations are fluid and moving in real time right now as we speak.
Yep.
So
Yep. And
being
to
able
your
to
point, we
understand that.
continue to get more analytics and
Mhm.
resources at our fingertips that I know our team is always eager to share with our clients.
Absolutely. Okay. So the last question I have for you today is understanding where your clients come from as a
Mhm.
team member is really, really important because the premise behind a team is the fundamental brand that you can dip into that is like that buffer, that padding, knowing that you've got the bandwidth to take on any client, any stage of life, and you've got a support team and a business model that will help elevate their experience. And then uniquely going into your sphere, your people that you love, your family, your friends, which you're at that age with lots of weddings right now, and
Mhm.
then the people you're meeting in person. So, from your perspective, where do you feel? Because there's a lot of realtors out there that are your age, right? A lot of
Mhm.
agents in there in that ecosystem. Where would you say, if you were to advise a realtor trying to figure this out, where do you put your emphasis and time, Steph?
I think 2 places. So, I'm born and raised here, so I'm very lucky that my friends and family, I have, a number of them here
Mhm.
in Minnesota and in the Twin Cities. So making sure that, my friends, family know I'm still in real estate and I'm, happy to help them. And that is through, personal conversations as well as, social media
Mhm.
in this day and age, that's a way that we stay connected. So continuing to, show up on, those platforms.
Right.
And then I would say the second part being, the open houses. That's been another, great way for me to meet new people outside of, my friends and family. We call that the sphere.
Mhm.
So those are the two places where I have put most of my time.
I always say the art of the open house. You can have an open house. It's a matter of the energy you bring in to that space and the technology and the synergy of the layers of awareness and making it fun. The business is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
The art of the open to me is a pinnacle of it's like a business card to me. And it's been
Yeah,
really
thanks
cool to
overlooked.
watch you evolve in that ecosystem. Really, really fun. Really fun.
Thank you.
Steph, I'm so proud of you. You've just
I
done a
appreciate
beautiful
that.
job, and you're a perfect example of what I think any young realtor that's been in the business for under 5 years wants to model after. And you should be so proud of yourself because it's not, it took some time. Like you've
Yeah.
definitely grown, just incredible growth personally as I've watched you mature your person because this can be an uncomfortable business to be in, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you got to put yourself out there in a way that may not be organic and you have to figure
Yeah.
out how to get yourself there and be comfortable in it. And you've done that in spades.
Thank you. Yeah, there's no, I mean, it's not a surprise why they say 87% of folks that get licensed in real estate, within 2 years, they quit or, stop pursuing real estate. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it's not
So
easy.
it really is amazing. I think it's up to 90% or something like that now. I can say
Okay.
that
Yeah, it very well might be.
saying to me that over. And I would say that for you and for anybody who really wants this, it's embracing all of it with no limitations and always, always with a growth mindset. And if you have all of
Mhm.
that and you're willing to work through the ups and the downs and be present while at the same time respecting and finding that time, which you've done a great job doing. You have done a great job of putting bumpers around your personal life and making sure you protect that. That's important to learn, everyone. Really
Yeah.
important. So, the takeaway of the day with Steph Spading is communication, funnel building, follow up, and getting personal and comfortable with your ecosystem. Cons- just being consistent, just following up. It's that simple,
1,000.
really. So, congratulations, Steph. I'm so
Thank
excited to
you.
see how the rest of the year is going to play out for you. You've got a lot of incredible work and incredible people you're working with.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to see how we finish the year here.
I know, powerfully. All right. Steph Spading is a team member on the Carrie Ann Carter group. If you want to learn more about Steph and what she's doing out there, follow her on Steph's socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of it. And
Yes, please.
please, if you find value in this, click on that little subscribe button because we would love to be a part of your daily. And you'll get pinged every time we do a podcast or we enter a new lifestyle video or a new listing. We're doing production on everything now, and it's fun to watch real estate. It's fun, whether you're looking right now or not. Eventually, you might be. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Steph. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time on Fly the Coop.